Starting another day here in Mae Sot, a bit of an unusual day. I have the GoPro Hero 9 mounted on the scooter at the moment. I'm just playing around with some of the mounting gear equipment that I got with the One X2. The Insta360 One X2 camera came with a mounting system of its own. And I'm just playing around with it to see how I can adapt it to also mounting a GoPro Hero 9 on the scooter, which I've done here. A bit of a mix crazy system I've got going on, but I didn't bring the right gear with me today. But my mystery visitor is still here in Mae Sot with me, and today I'm taking him on the scooter out into the countryside south of Mae Sot to a couple of places that I know that I've wanted to revisit. One in particular is the Blue Cave, which I tried to visit with another mystery visitor here in town, and we never made it because I got stuck in the mud on the country road. But it's a lot drier now, and I think I know a better way to get there. So we're going to head south out of Mae Sot, go to the Blue Cave, and then perhaps to a waterfall kind of park that I know, a couple of cafes, see a bit of the countryside, and then come back into town. And it's really nice and sunny right now, so we're heading off as soon as possible, take advantage of the nice weather before the rains move in. I keep expecting the rains to move in and never leave, but we've been pretty lucky with the weather. But anyway, on the ride to the Blue Cave, I'm probably not going to be talking into the camera or narrating because I'll have my mystery visitor with me and I'll be chatting with him. So I'm probably going to shoot a time lapse or a hyperlapse of the journey to the Blue Cave. So that should be coming up next. So that's the end of the Hyperlapse. Really nice ride to get here. I tried to get to the Blue Cave, as I said, on a previous trip with an earlier mystery visitor. And at that time, I guess I got a bit confused, and I started from a different starting point. I started from the Tarawak Waterfall, and I took a different road that time, thinking all the roads were the same, and then we ended up stuck in the mud, and I never made it to this cave at all with my other mystery visitor. This time I came straight here from Mae Sot, and I took the same route that I followed on my other trips. And as I remembered, the road to get here is paved. So it was a beautiful ride, as you probably saw in the Hyperlapse, going through some beautiful farming countryside with hills in the background. Really, really nice. And here is the entrance to the temple and the cave behind me. And here is the road, the paved road that leads to the temple. So this is the way I should have come with my previous mystery visitor. And then the pavement stops here. This is the end of the paved section right in front of the temple and the cave. And as you can see, right here, it turns back into dirt and mud. And I think this was the route I was trying to follow with my other visitor, to come in on this dirt road. And that was a big mistake because, yeah, never did even make it. And I remember on a previous visit wondering what these plants were, and I think someone in the comments or someone informed me that these are actually cassava bushes. I mean, I don't know that absolutely for sure, but that's what it appears to be. So my new mystery visitor has gone ahead of me. He's already gone inside the cave somewhere, inside the temple. The mask mandate has been lifted across all of Thailand, as far as I'm aware. So you're no longer required to wear a mask when you're outdoors. But once you go into a public space, a more crowded space, perhaps markets, temples, things like that, they still would like you to put on a mask. So here I am. I don't know how well known this cave is, you know, amongst Thai people, or even you know, people living in the Mae Sot area. Got the impression that not a lot of people who even live in Mae Sot are, you know, too familiar with this place. But it is a beautiful spot. I'm going to show you a little bit of the entrance here. So here's the entrance and some of the rock formations up there. So here is a sign at the entrance to the cave, and it shows you where it gets its name from. It's known as the Blue Cave because in just the right light, you can see that the walls on the inside have a distinct blue-gray color. I think you have to be a good photographer to bring that blue out. I'm not sure if it's quite as dramatic as it looks in these pictures, you know, to the naked eye. There's the entrance to the cave, the start of it. And my mystery visitor noticed that right here at the entrance, there's actually quite a large number of bats. Just kind of, I mean, of course you're going to see bats inside the cave. You can see thousands of them probably. But it's not often that I see them so near the front entrance. This is right at the entrance to the cave. And there's, I don't know, 50 bats up there, maybe more. Okay, I'm moving into the cave. And here I'm not seeing the real blue color as yet. It's kind of a grayish white. It's very nice though. And actually, it's probably different for different people as well. I imagine you know, people see colors in different ways, and then maybe some people actually see more of a bluish tinge than other people. In these caves, you always come across these signs with a little rope barrier, a little ribbon, and got to pay attention to them, because that's actually quite a drop there. I don't think on the camera you can even see the bottom, but you don't want to fall down there. Oh yeah, I remember this now from my previous visits. There's a narrow passageway here. And I remember setting up my GoPros so that I'd have them sitting ahead of me, and then I'd walk towards it and walk past it and go back and get it again. But I'm not being so fancy on this visit. Short and simple. So yeah, I think after this narrow portion, that's almost as deep as the cave goes, or at least the public section of the cave. Quite often these cave systems where we're allowed to go as tourists will continue deeper and deeper, but that area, you know, you don't really want to get into. But yeah, I think this is the end of the blue cave. Yeah, so far in this lighting anyway, I haven't seen any blue color at all. Maybe if they changed the type of, they've got incandescent bulbs there, I guess. Maybe if you change the white balance in your camera, you get blue color, but I don't see any blue anywhere actually. Just turned around from the end of the cave. Looking up at the ceiling. Interestingly, I don't see any bats at all this deep in the cave. I haven't seen any bats on the ceiling. This particular bat colony is all at the very beginning of the cave. It's a really interesting texture to the walls here, like the striation, you know, the lines there, as if something, you know, was scraping along it to gouge these lines, you know. You would see a lot of that kind of thing in Canada, where places where the glaciers would come down and scrape the land, you know, and even gouge into the rocks. But I don't know what would have created this pattern here. This is quite an interesting cave. And for this cave, luckily you don't need a flashlight. And I say luckily because, as always, I forgot to bring mine. I've noticed in all the caves I visited recently, whenever you came across a hole like this, well, you know, they even built a bridge going across this hole. It's always the wettest part of the cave. So the rest of this cave is quite dry, but here suddenly water is dripping down and the walls are quite wet. And I guess that kind of makes sense because the flow of water is what makes these caves. So if you have more water flow here, that's when they would dig out these big holes in the ground. Doug the geologist speculating on how caves are formed. Okay, so that was a very quick, short and sweet visit to the Blue Cave. And from here, I think my mystery visitor and I are going to go to the Tarawak Waterfall. And the waterfall there is quite a small one. It's not a spectacular sort of waterfall, but it has a pleasant kind of setting. Oh, back up, get some light on my face. Bare light bulb right over here. And but over there are some stairs, some interesting stairs that climb up the cliff and take you all the way up to the top, where you get kind of a nice view of the countryside. And again, it's not an attraction that you would travel around the world to see, but when it's right around the corner and you have a scooter, hey, it's a no-brainer. Go check it out. And then after that, I think we're going to look at a couple of nice cafes that I know about that are in this area. Yeah, I've got to bend way down. I've already hit my head on the rocks ceiling several times in this cave. There we go. Nearly back at the entrance. And this cave is lit on the inside. There's a string of electric lights, and all the electricity for those lights comes from this gas-powered generator on the outside. So you do have to think about going in there. It's not a very big cave, but if this generator stops, runs out of gas, it's going to be pitch black in there all of a sudden. So I guess everybody has a smartphone these days, so they can always summon some light to find their way out. Mystery visitor and myself, we've arrived at Terra Rock Waterfall, and I've switched to the Insta360 One X2 camera. I've got the Rode Wireless Go microphone attached to it. And as I keep saying, I have no idea how to use this camera. It's such an unusual thing. Yeah, it's such a different feeling. I was just using my Panasonic G85 when I visited the cave, and I hadn't used that camera for a couple of weeks maybe. You have to think about your settings for every shot, but with a 360 camera, you don't have to do any of that. You don't do it now, you do it afterwards. So you basically just turn on the camera, film, and then while you're editing, you make all your choices later. So it's kind of interesting that way. But I just wanted to say that I was here, a month ago or so with another visitor, and it was completely different. Like, this is a 5-day holiday weekend, so this place should be filled with people, but there's nobody here. And when I was here, a month ago, this whole area was full of shops. There were a whole bunch of restaurants, cafes. You could get food, drinks, souvenirs, all kinds of things here. There were shops on this end where you could get cold drinks, beer, I think, fish food, and it's all gone. Not only is it not open, the buildings themselves have been ripped out and demolished, torn down. So why? I couldn't tell you. But anyway, I wanted to use the 360 camera just for the experience, but also because to go up to the top of this waterfall cliff, you go up through some kind of interesting stairways and ladders. And I thought the 360 might capture an interesting perspective. But I'm not doing anything fancy with the camera movements or anything. I'm just holding it out in front of me and walking along. Something that occurs to me about 360 cameras, though, oh, these poor fish. They're so used to being fed. You can see all the fish down below there. And I want to feed them, but all the shops are closed. Like, you can't even buy fish food anymore. Everything's closed. Everything's gone. That is so strange. Let's see if I lower the camera all the way down to water level. What kind of a view do you get with the 360 camera? I guess you can see the fish, and then you can change the view to look back up at me again. But yeah, I was just saying, with a 360 camera, it kind of breaks the rules, because with a camera lens, the general idea is that it is sharpest in the middle of the lens. So whenever you're framing a shot, a photograph, or a video, the sharpest image is always in the center. But with a 360 camera, you're always holding the whole thing on an angle in front of you so that the selfie stick becomes invisible. But when you do that, it automatically means that the main subject, in this case the main subject is me, I am being filmed by the least sharp part of the lens, because I'm being filmed from the lowest possible edge of the lens, and the center of the lens is pointing upwards, and that's the least useful angle. Anyway, it's kind of weird that with the 360 camera, just the way they work, you automatically end up not using the fullest potential of the lens, because the sharpest area is not the area that you tend to be using. So that's kind of weird. Anyway, my mystery visitor has gone on ahead, and I'm walking along to catch up with him. He's kind of being held hostage to Planet Doug, because he wants to head for the cafes and a nice cold drink. And I wanted to come here first to play with the camera. Got a bit of a barrier on the trail here. Tree branches have fallen over the stairs, so we've got to bend over to go through them. So then my knapsack is always a problem, even going through caves. I can't bend over far enough, and then my knapsack ends up hitting the roof of the cave. There are the stairs that you climb up to get here. And then on the other side is the final ladder. Made it to the top. Again, I have no idea how that looks from the point of view of a 360 camera. And there's the point of view going down. Up here at the top of the cliff where the waterfall starts, you can see the stream, but you can't really see the waterfall themselves. You know, you don't get a view of the waterfall. Jump ahead in time. Moved on from the Blue Cave, and now I'm on the GoPro, though I haven't hooked up my Rode Wireless Go microphone, so this is the audio directly into the GoPro itself, the built-in mics. And we're now at the Roka Cafe. I didn't film any of our journey to get here. It was just basically up the highway. Beautiful ride, but I didn't fire up any cameras for that ride. Funny thing is, though, when we tried to leave from the Blue Cave, I commented about how the whole place seemed to be shut down. All the restaurants were gone. Not only were the restaurants closed, the buildings themselves were torn down, which was kind of weird. And on our way in, we did see a whole bunch of signs that seemed to be saying something important, but they were all in Thai. But as we tried to leave, we found we were trapped. They had lowered a gate with a big sign on it, and then they used a rope to tie down the gate. And we had to untie the rope and lift the gate just to get out. And then as we went out, we could see on the sign, it said, "No entry," in English. So apparently, I'm assuming that the whole park is being shut down. It's no longer going to be a tourist attraction, or it's being rebuilt, renovated, and under construction, and they closed it to the public for a while. So that was our small adventure there. And here at Roka Cafe now, and just about to enjoy a few things. I've got a banana smoothie. Mystery visitor got a hot latte and some sort of a coconut wrap. So that is what is going on here, and we may move on from here to a second cafe, really special one, which is just like a kilometer or two up the road, and then that will probably be the end of the day's adventures, and zoom back to Mae Sot after that. So I'm going to enjoy my banana smoothie. Actually, I'll have a sip and tell you how delicious it is, because I'm sure it's not going to be a surprise. Actually, I kind of like it the way it looks. They actually have sliced banana on the top, which is always nice. When I had the apple smoothie at the This Is a Book Cafe, I was kind of pleased with it because it had actual apple slices, full apple slice in the drink itself, which is always kind of nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice smoothie. It's not overly sweetened. There you can see the logo for the Roka Cafe. My only complaint about smoothies is always I could have one twice as big as this, you know. But this one tastes very much like it was made with ice cream. I can taste real ice cream, real milk in there. A lot of them might be just ice, and then they add sweetener. But this one I think was made with real cream, real ice cream. So it's a very high-end kind of smoothie. Just kind of this place, Roka Cafe. It's quite a nice place, and they make good food. So here, just for a quick walk around, this is the interior. I made a whole video about this place once before, so I won't go into it in depth. But this is the service area where they make all the drinks. And then they have seating in here as well. Really nice, high ceilings. It's not sealed or air conditioned, but they have such huge doors that they get a nice breeze going through, even on a hot day. There's a really interesting room here I've noticed before. Looks like they have almost a stage set up here for like performances for children, probably. It's almost like, yeah, it's like a mock carousel. Yeah, it's a really nice room. And they serve all kinds of coffees and smoothies, and then they have a lot of pastries here as well. And they serve spaghetti and a few basic types of food here. And then when I was here last time, there was a seating upstairs as well. And I think that part might be closed now. Yeah, I think the upstairs is currently closed. But the real draw to this place is the setting. So let's walk out here just for a second. And yeah, this is the view from the Roka Cafe. You really can't get nicer than that. As always, looking across the river into the mountains of Myanmar. Yeah, it sits up on a hill. Doesn't countryside, so you get a nice view of the surrounding farms. My mystery visitor was commenting that it doesn't feel like you're in Thailand here. Especially when you look at the building itself right here. It feels kind of European to me, or maybe even North American, the look of the place. So that's it for a quick tour. I'm going to go inside, rejoin my mystery visitor, enjoy the banana smoothie. All done at Roka Cafe, and mystery visitor and I are hopping back on the scooter and heading to the Dream Museum and the Garden of the Happy Dreams, a Dreamboat Museum, I guess. My main reason for going there, to be honest, is just to get out the 360 camera, and I want to revisit a lot of these statues and pieces of art that are there. And I don't really know what to do with the 360 camera. I'm still, as I keep saying over and over, getting used to it. But I basically want to walk around in circles, do like time lapses or hyperlapses, walking around some of these statues, putting the camera through openings, you know, between the legs of the dinosaurs, through the jaws of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or doing all these transitions and reveals. Just sort of walk around for a few minutes, play around with the camera. And after that, we'll probably hop on the scooter and zoom back to Mae Sot. Yeah, still not raining, which is amazing. Really nice day. I'm here. I'm back at the Dreamboat Museum in the Garden of the Happy Dreams, and I've just been wandering around with the Insta360 One X2 and sort of moving it in and out of some of the dinosaur statues and the Transformers statues and things like that. And I have no idea what I'll do with the footage afterwards. I don't even know what it's going to look like. But heading across the bridge to the windmill, and the idea is just to take some video as I climb up into the windmill like I did the last time I was here. A lot more people here. It's a holiday and it's a weekend, so a lot of children here, which is what you'd expect. This is kind of a children's park, and me being a big kid at heart, I guess that's why I like these places so much. And they've all rented bicycles and they're racing around on their rented bikes. I'm getting a little bit nervous about getting back to Mae Sot, so I'm sort of rushing through the park this time. Some heavy, dark rain clouds moving in, and don't really want to get rained on, so I think I'm going to get back on the scooter with my mystery visitor pretty quickly, head back into town before the rains start. There's some young girls just climbed up to the windmill and they're going up the ladder to the very top. So I think I'll leave that adventure to them for now. And yeah, there's not a whole lot of room up there. I don't think they want me up there with them. So we'll have to leave that for another visit to this place. Yeah, it's beautiful here. Yeah, it really is a nice place. Across the lake over there is all the selfie stations with traditional village life and cafes and things like that. But I think that's pretty much it for my visit this time. Like I said, I just wanted to play around with the 360 camera a little bit. Just about finished. I have to go say hello to Darth Vader and a couple of other monstrous figures over here, the Incredible Hulk, and then I'm ready to get out of here, get back on the road. My mystery visitor, I think, is off somewhere playing chess on his smartphone, so he's entertaining himself over there somewhere. So here is yeah, Darth Vader, looking very mean, appropriately mean, and then here are the other two creatures, some sort of a human warrior, and then some kind of a monstrous troll. But again, pretty impressive the way they built these things, all welded, hand welded. It's really quite something. But let's see if we can do a couple of fancy reveals with the 360 camera. worked my way around much of the park, and I'm back at the entrance again, walking towards the Transformers. Find my mystery visitor. He's probably found himself a comfortable spot inside the cafe. He is the definition of a cafe hound. Loves a nice cafe. So I think that's the end of this video for today. Thinking back, where did it start? You know, I met my mystery visitor at Lucky Tea Garden for breakfast this morning, pretty early. And then we went from there, down to we followed sort of a countryside route a little bit to get to the Blue Cave. From the Blue Cave to Roka Cafe. Really nice experience there at the Roka Cafe. We got there at the perfect time for the weather conditions. Really nice set of food. I had some French fries at the end, which I don't think I caught on video, but they make a kind of French fries with cheese on top. Ordered those, had a iced cappuccino, a banana smoothie, and then my mystery visitor had a selection of things, a chocolate cheesecake, I think, all kinds of things. So that was really nice. And since we are so close to this place, I talked him into coming down here just so I could zoom around with my camera and play with the 360 camera a little bit. And so time to hop on the scooter. It's still not raining yet. I think we're going to be okay. Knock on a transformer and hop on the scooter and race back to Mae Sot. That's it for this. And see you in the next video.